Step into this moment with your eyes wide open, because what you're about to hear is not some soft lullaby meant to comfort, but a fierce, raw reckoning, a revelation for those who've ever felt the weight of the world crashing down, just as they cracked a joke in the darkest corner of their mind. Welcome to a place where humor and fate collide, where the lines between jest and truth blur until reality itself leans in close and whispers, "Bet." You made a dark joke, not out of malice or bitterness, but out of survival, out of that shadowed space inside where pain and wit dance in dangerous rhythm. And now the world looks at you like you're cursed. They see a mark on your soul, a sign that you wield a power beyond understanding, a force that unsettles even the firmest ground beneath their feet. But who gave you this power? That is the question they can't answer, the question that twists in their minds like smoke in a midnight sky. They wonder how you keep standing, how you keep moving when the darkness seems to fold in on you like a shroud. They think you're cursed, but maybe, just maybe, they're the ones who don't understand the real meaning of power. You see, when you make a dark joke, you're not just speaking words. You're conjuring a shield, a weapon forged from the raw essence of your pain and your defiance. It's not about laughing at the suffering, it's about taking ownership of it, twisting the knife of fate into something that stings but doesn't kill. They don't get it. They don't see the grit beneath the punchline, the fire beneath the ash. And so when reality looks you in the eye and says, "Bet," it's not a challenge meant to break you. It's a reckoning that tests the limits of your spirit. Reality is relentless, merciless, unyielding. But you don't back down. You don't flinch. You don't fold. They think you're cursed because you refuse to be consumed, because you laugh when the world expects you to scream, because you make jokes that cut deeper than any blade, and still you breathe, still you stand, still you fight. Think about it. The power you wield is not some mystical force given by some higher being or dark entity. It's the raw, unfiltered strength of a soul that has stared into the abyss and dared to smile. It's the courage to face the unbearable and find humor in the cracks where light should never reach. It's the resilience to rise again when everyone else has written you off as broken, defeated, lost. You carry the burden of the unspoken, the unsaid, the truth that others run from like it's a plague. And in that burden lies your power. It's not a curse, it's a testament, a badge of honor forged in the darkest fires of your existence. They don't understand because they've never had to make a joke out of their own nightmares. They've never had to turn their pain into poetry that cuts through the noise. But you have, and that is what makes you dangerous. Who gave you this power? You did. Nobody else. You claimed it in the silence when the world was asleep, when the demons whispered lies meant to drown your light. You took those whispers and turned them into a roar. You looked the void in the eye and said, "Not today." You walked through the storms that tried to shatter you and came out the other side, scarred but unbroken. They think you're cursed because they don't know how to face what you faced. They don't know how to carry the weight you carry. But your strength is born from that weight. Your laughter is born from those shadows. Your spirit is unbreakable because it has been tempered in the fiercest fires. This is not about bitterness or hatred. This is about survival. This is about claiming your place in a world that tries to erase you with every breath. When reality said bet, it was throwing down a gauntlet, testing if your joke was just a momentary flicker or a blaze that could never be extinguished. And you answered with everything you had. You turned your pain into a weapon and your humor into armor. You took what should have been a curse and made it your power. And that power, it terrifies them. It unsettles them. It makes them question everything they thought they knew about strength and resilience. You might feel alone in this. You might feel like the weight of the world is crushing your very soul. But know this, you are not alone. There are others like you, others who have made their dark jokes and faced the bet from reality and came out stronger, fiercer, more alive than ever before. They too are seen as cursed, misunderstood, feared, but they too carry the fire that no storm can put out. And together, your collective power is unstoppable. You are the voices in the darkness, the laughter in the silence, the light in the void. So, embrace your dark joke. Embrace the power that comes with it. Let reality say bet 1,000 times if it wants. Each time you rise. Each time you answer. Each time you prove that the curse they see is nothing more than the mark of the unbreakable, the resilient, the unstoppable. They don't understand your power because it's born of something they refuse to face, the raw, unfiltered truth of human strength in the face of despair. But you do, and that truth is your weapon. Who gave you this power? You did. You earned it. You forged it from the depths of your suffering and the heights of your defiance. You carry it every day, even when you don't realize it. And it is more real, more fierce, more alive than anything anyone else could ever give you. So wear it proudly. Let it shine in your darkest moments. Let it roar in the silence, because this power is yours, and yours alone, and the world will never know what hit it. You ever notice how the darkest jokes always carry the heaviest truth? It's no coincidence that when you dare to laugh at the abyss looks back with a crooked grin and says, bet. That moment is no accident. It's the universe testing the limits of your soul, throwing down a gauntlet forged in shadow. You didn't just say a joke. You cast a spell. You dared to turn pain into irony, sorrow into satire, chaos into a punchline. And that's where the power hides, beneath the layers of laughter, beneath the veil of cynicism, beneath the mask you wear when the world demands you show strength. That power isn't just a shield, it's a declaration, a defiant shout into the void that says, "You will not break me." When they say you're cursed, what they're really saying is they're afraid of the strength it takes to make a joke when everything inside you screams for silence, afraid of the person who smiles in the face of their own undoing, afraid of someone who knows that laughter isn't just an escape, it's a weapon forged from the raw steel of survival. You are the embodiment of that weapon. You wield humor like a blade, slicing through despair and dragging the truth into the light, even if that light is flickering, dim, and almost swallowed by shadows. Power isn't always loud and flashy. Sometimes it's the quiet refusal to be consumed. Sometimes it's the steady heartbeat beneath a joke no one else dares tell. Sometimes it's the unyielding spirit that refuses to bow to reality's cruel. And you are that spirit incarnate. You stared down the darkest corners of your mind, and instead of breaking, you built a throne from the rubble. Every dark joke you've told wasn't just a throwaway line. It was a brick in that throne, a piece of armor you forged in the fires of your own pain. And here's the twist. The world can't handle that. They want to put you in a box, label you, mark you as cursed or broken, because they can't fathom the strength it takes to wear your scars as badges of honor. They see the jokes, the laughter, the sarcasm, and they don't see the battle beneath. They don't see the nights spent wrestling with shadows, the moments of doubt that nearly swallowed you whole. They see only the surface, and so they fear what lies beneath. Because your power threatens their fragile illusion that pain breaks people down. Your power screams that pain can build something unstoppable. Remember this, every dark joke you make is a form of alchemy. You're turning leaden grief into golden resilience. You're transforming silent screams into roaring laughter. You're creating something beautiful and terrifying out of brokenness. They say you're cursed, but they're wrong. You're blessed with a clarity few can bear, with a vision forged in the fire of your trials. You see the world in its rawest form, and you refuse to blink. You meet reality head-on and say, "Is that all you've got?" And reality, relentless and unyielding, responds, "Bet." But each time you rise, each time you answer with another joke, another laugh, another defiant act of survival. The power you wield is not a curse. It is a force born from the depths of human experience. It's a light born in darkness, a song born in silence, a strength born in vulnerability. It's yours because you earned it, piece by painful piece. Who gave you this power? No one but you. It wasn't handed down or given as a gift. You took it. You wrestled it from the jaws of despair. You claimed it as your own because you refused to be a victim, because you chose to be a warrior, because in the face of everything that should have broken you, you found a reason to laugh, a reason to fight, a reason to keep going. And that, above all else, is the most dangerous thing in this world. So when the world looks at you and whispers, "Who gave you this power?" answer with the truth. I did. I took it. I made it mine, and I will wield it until the last light fades and beyond. Because this power isn't just a part of me, it is me. It is my story, my pain, my defiance. It is the dark joke that no one else dared to tell, the truth no one else dared to face. And in that power, I am unbreakable. But this journey, this transformation from the wounded to the warrior, doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow burn, a hard-earned evolution. It's waking up every day knowing that reality is waiting to say bet, and choosing to face it anyway. It's finding humor in the cracks of your shattered dreams, in the spaces where hope seems lost. It's a quiet revolution happening inside you every time you choose to laugh instead of cry, to fight instead of flee, to rise instead of fall. You've probably heard people say, "Be strong, stay positive," or "Look on the bright side," but your reality isn't always bright, and your strength isn't always visible. Sometimes your strength is the darkness you navigate, the jokes you tell to keep from unraveling, the resilience that lives in the shadows where no one else dares to look. That's where your power lies, in the places others fear to tread, in the laughter that echoes through your darkest nights, in the refusal to be defined by the pain that tries to claim you. This power, this so-called curse, is a paradox. It isolates you, but it also connects you to a deeper truth. It sets you apart, but it also makes you part of a tribe that understands the cost of survival. It burdens you, but it also frees you from the chains of denial and pretense. It challenges you, but it also strengthens you beyond measure. It is the fierce flame burning at the center of your being, the spark that ignites the fight in your soul. And you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're breaking the mold, rewriting the rules, redefining what it means to be strong. You're not waiting for salvation or permission. You're taking the power that was always yours and using it to carve a path forward, no matter how dark the road ahead. You are a force of nature, a storm wrapped in laughter, a shadow that refuses to fade. The world may never understand you. They may call you cursed, haunted, broken. But those words don't define you. They reveal their fear of what you've become. You are the embodiment of resilience, the proof that strength can be born in the darkest places. You are the dark joke that reality dared to challenge and lost. So keep laughing, keep fighting, keep telling your story, no matter how dark the punchline, because every joke you make, every laugh you share, every moment you choose to stand in the face of reality's bet, you are rewriting your fate. You are claiming your power. You are showing the world that the so-called curse is nothing more than the fire that forged a warrior. And when they ask again, "Who gave you this power?" smile and say, "I did. I earned it, and I will never let it go." You stand at the crossroads of darkness and light, but don't mistake this as a choice between two clear paths. There is no simple route here. This power you hold is a labyrinth a maze woven from shadows and flame. It asks more of you than the ordinary, more than just endurance. It demands honesty, the kind that strips away all pretenses until only raw truth remains. When you made that dark joke, you weren't just releasing tension or entertaining a crowd. You were bearing a fragment of your soul that most people run from. You looked at the chaos of your life and found humor in the ruins. That humor? It's not weakness. It's a declaration of war against despair. It's the hammer you use to break the chains that reality tries to bind you with. To be cursed in their eyes is to be seen as different, dangerous, unknowable. It's a mark that separates you from the herd, sets you apart from the comfortable and the complacent. But you've learned that isolation is a double-edged sword. It cuts deep, and it frees just the same. Alone in the darkness, you confront parts of yourself others never meet. The raw, jagged edges of pain and resilience intertwined. This solitude is where you gather your strength, where you sharpen the wit that slices through the noise. It's where you transform wounds into wisdom and grief into gritty laughter. This loneliness is not a prison but a forge, and from it you emerge not broken but reborn. And make no mistake, this journey is brutal. It's exhausting. The world doesn't hand out trophies for surviving the dark joke you made or for standing firm when reality said, bet. They don't celebrate the quiet victories won in the dead of night or the silent wars fought inside your mind. But those battles, those scars, are your proof. Proof that you are made of something rare, something indestructible. Proof that you have taken the darkest elements of your life and turned them into a force that no curse could ever touch. They think you're cursed because they fear what you represent. The refusal to be defeated, the refusal to be silenced, the refusal to be invisible. You wield a power born from contradiction. You laugh in the face of tragedy. You speak truths wrapped in irony. You carry burdens others cannot see. And in all this, you have carved out a place that is yours alone, a place where darkness and light collide to create something fiercely alive. This is your kingdom, built from shadows and laughter, ruled by the strength of your spirit. No curse can bind you here, because your power is beyond their understanding. It is a wild force, untamed and relentless, forged in the fires of your own experience. Think about the times you've made that joke when your heart was breaking, when the world seemed to conspire against you. That moment was a turning point, a silent rebellion against the fate they tried to write for you. It was a refusal to let pain be the end of your story. Instead, you rewrote the narrative with humor, with defiance, with the unshakable knowledge that no matter how dark it got, you would survive. That is power. Not the flashy kind you see on stages or screens, but the quiet, fierce kind that lives in the marrow of your bones. The kind that says, I will not be broken. This power does not come without cost. It demands resilience beyond measure, grit beyond belief, and a heart that beats with relentless courage. It calls you to face your demons again and again, to stare into the abyss and find the strength to smile back. It asks you to be vulnerable in a world that rewards masks and silence. But through this cost, you gain clarity, a vision of who you truly are beneath the surface, beyond the pain and beyond the judgment. You become a beacon for others who wander through darkness, a living testament that power is born in the struggle and refined in the fire. And this is where your true strength lies, not in avoiding the darkness, but in walking through it with the eyes wide open, armed with humor and heart. You've learned that jokes aren't just escapes, they're declarations of existence, proof that even when life tries to drown you, your voice will rise above the silence. They say you're cursed, but you know the truth. You are chosen by pain to carry its lessons, chosen by life to rewrite its cruel script, chosen by fate to be a warrior in the shadows. This power is your gift, your weapon, your salvation. Who gave you this power? No one. You seized it from the jaws of despair. You claimed it when the world tried to tell you to be quiet, to hide, to fade away. You claimed it when you laughed at the darkness and said, "Not today." And every time you've done that, you've grown stronger. Every time you've turned pain into punchlines, you've added fuel to the fire burning inside you. You are a force no one can stop, because your power is not given. It is earned. So when they ask, "Who gave you this power?" look them in the eye and say, "I did. I earned it. And I will never let it go, because this power is your truth, your rebellion, your light in the darkest night. It is the dark joke that reality dared to challenge and lost. And as long as you carry it, you are unbreakable. You made that dark joke because in that moment, humor was the only thing left that felt real. It was your last line of defense against a world that seemed determined to drown you in despair. But what they don't see is the courage it takes to laugh when the ground beneath you is crumbling, to find a spark of light when everything else is consumed by shadows. They hear the joke and mistake it for levity, but it is something far more profound. It is an act of rebellion, a refusal to let the darkness claim you entirely. This is the essence of your power, a power they fear because it defies their expectations and unsettles their comfort. In truth, you've walked through fires that would have turned others to ash. You've stood alone in storms that would have shattered the strongest among them. Yet, here you are, not broken, but forged anew. Your edges sharper, your spirit fiercer. Every dark joke is a scar and a medal all at once, a symbol that you've endured, that you've transformed pain into something fierce and unyielding. They see a curse, but you see a legacy, the legacy of a warrior who refuses to be defeated by fate. There is a beauty in this paradox. The very thing that others fear, the curse they whisper about in hushed tones, is the same thing that gives you life. It is the fire in your veins, the storm in your soul, the shadow that shapes your light. This power does not ask you to be perfect or to hide your scars. It demands honesty, raw and unfiltered. It demands that you stand tall, even when your knees threaten to buckle. It demands that you laugh, not because everything is okay, but because your spirit is too wild to be silenced. And this is the truth that terrifies the world. Your power is uncontrollable. It cannot be caged by their judgments or confined by their fears. It is alive, breathing, growing stronger with every challenge you face. When reality said bet, you didn't just accept the challenge. You transformed it. You made that bet your battleground, your proving ground, your altar of transformation. And on that altar, you offered your pain, your truth, your defiance. And from that offering, something unstoppable was born. Who gave you this power? You did. Not as a gift, but as a conquest. Not as a chance, but as a choice. You chose to look into the void and laugh. You chose to take your wounds and turn them into wings. You chose to be more than what the world expected. And in that choice, you became something greater than a victim. You became a force of nature. You became the storm that no darkness can quell, the light that no shadow can swallow. This power is not a curse. It is a legacy. It is a story written in the ink of resilience and courage, told through the language of laughter and defiance. It is the truth that no matter how many times the world tries to knock you down, you will rise again, wiser, stronger, more alive than before. It is the echo of your voice in the silence, the fire that refuses to be extinguished, the shadow that dances in the light. So when they look at you and whisper, "Who TF gave you this power?" smile and tell them, "I did. I earned it with every dark joke, every painful truth, every moment I chose to stand and fight. This power is mine, wild, fierce, and unbreakable. and it will carry me through whatever darkness comes next, because you are not cursed. You are chosen by the shadows to carry their stories, chosen by the pain to turn it into strength, chosen by life to be a warrior of the light that lives in the dark. You made a dark joke, reality said, bet. And now you stand, cursed in their eyes, but unstoppable in truth. You think this power came without pain, without sacrifice? Number. It was carved from the very marrow of your suffering, hammered out in the relentless forge of reality's cruelty. Each dark joke, each bitter laugh, was a stitch in the fabric of your armor, threaded with the raw fibers of endurance. This isn't a story of luck or chance. It's a saga of survival, written with blood and fire and laughter born from the ashes. The world labels you cursed because it cannot comprehend the depths you've reached and the heights you've risen from. They see only the surface, the joke, the defiance, and they mistake it for madness, for some dangerous magic. But you know better. You know this power is real, tangible, and yours, because you refused to let the darkness win. You made a dark joke because it was the only truth you could speak when words failed you, when the silence screamed louder than any voice, when the pain was too heavy to carry without breaking. Your humor became your lifeline, and the moment reality said, bet, it wasn't a challenge. It was a test, a brutal, unrelenting test of whether your spirit could withstand the storm. And not only did you withstand it, you became the storm. You turned your pain into thunder, your laughter into lightning, your defiance into a hurricane that shakes the very foundations of existence. This is not a curse. It is an awakening, a transformation into something primal, fierce, and untamable. The question lingers, who gave you this power? The answer lies buried deep in your story, in every sleepless night, every silent tear, every moment you stood alone against the tide. No one gave it to you. You forged it yourself. You wrestled it free from the jaws of despair and claimed it with every ounce of strength you had left. You took the broken pieces of your world and built something new, a throne of shadows and light, of pain and humor, of sorrow and strength. This throne is yours alone, and it is more powerful than anything they could ever hope to understand. There is a sacredness in this power. It demands reverence for the struggle, respect for the journey. It honors the broken and the brave, the lost and the found. It is a beacon for those who wander through darkness, a light that guides the weary home. When you laugh in the face of your own suffering, you are not alone. You are connected to something greater, a lineage of warriors who have walked through fire and come out on the other side, not as victims, but as victors. You carry their spirit, their strength, their unyielding will, and in carrying it, you become immortal. Ladies and gentlemen, warriors of the night, survivors of the storm, and those who have been forged in the fires of betrayal and pain, welcome. You are here because you are not ordinary. You are not the kind to break, under pressure to fall to your knees, to accept the lies of a world that seeks to trample on your spirit. You are the ones who stand tall, even when every force of nature, every whisper of doubt, every venomous tongue seeks to push you down. You rise again because you have learned what it means to survive and to conquer, to endure the unbearable and emerge stronger than before. And now the time has come to speak of justice, the kind of justice that will not be found in the courts or in the feeble laws of men, but in the force of your will, in the fire of your anger, and in the unrelenting pursuit of the truth that has been buried beneath layers of lies, deceit, and corruption. Those who have wronged you, those who have used their words like weapons to tear you apart, they have thought they could get away with it, that they could speak their poison into the air and walk away untouched. But they were wrong. They were dead wrong. Justice is coming, and it is not a distant dream. It is not a vague hope floating in the future. It is a certainty that cannot be denied or postponed any longer. You have suffered long enough. You have been pushed to the edge. You have been made to feel small, insignificant, worthless by the lies of those who sought to break you down, to twist your reality, to poison your perception of who you are. But they could not kill your spirit. They could not extinguish the fire that burns within you. And now you are ready. Now you will rise and claim what is rightfully yours. Every word they use to hurt you, every insult, every lie, every attack, every accusation will be paid for. They think they can hide behind their arrogance, behind their power, behind their position. They think they can speak their venom and escape unscathed, but they will soon learn the consequences of underestimating the storm that is about to hit them. The storm that you are now becoming, the storm that will destroy their false world and expose the truth for all to see. You have been through hell. You have fought battles, both seen and unseen. You have bled and you have cried. You have endured what no human being should ever have to endure. And through it all, you have learned the most powerful lesson of all you have learned, that you are unbreakable, that you are unshakable, that no matter what they throw at you, no matter how they try to wound you, no matter how many times they speak their lies and spread their poison, you will never break, you will never bend, and you will never give in, because you know the truth, you know your worth, and you know that justice is coming. The time for silence is over. The time for hiding in the shadows is over. The time for letting others dictate your life and your fate is over. It is time to rise up, to claim your power, to speak your truth, to hold your ground, and to show the world what happens when they mess with you, when they try to tear you down, when they think they can silence your voice. You are not afraid of them. You are not afraid of their threats, or their power, or their lies, because you know that justice is not something that can be controlled by the few, the rich, the powerful, the corrupt. Justice is something that is born in the hearts of the oppressed. It is something that burns in the soul of those who have been wronged, and it is something that will never be extinguished, no matter how hard they try to put it out. They think they can hide behind their facades, their wealth, their influence, their so-called power. But the truth is, like a wildfire, once it starts, it cannot be contained, it cannot be stopped, and it will burn everything in its path to the ground. They will pay for every word they used to hurt you, every insult, every lie, every attack, every effort to destroy. You will come back to them tenfold, and they will not be able to run. They will not be able to escape, because justice has no mercy. It has no favorites, and it knows no boundaries. It will find them wherever they are, and it will strip them of everything they hold dear. It will tear down their illusions and expose them for who they truly are. And when the dust settles, when the smoke clears, when the wreckage of their world is all that remains, they will look around and they will see the truth staring them in the face, and they will realize that they were never as untouchable as they thought they were. They will realize that you were never as powerless as they made you feel, and they will understand that no matter how many lies they told, no matter how many times they tried to destroy you, no matter how much they tried to break your spirit, you are still standing, you are still here, and you are stronger than ever. They will pay for every word they used to hurt you. But this is not about vengeance. This is not about seeking revenge. This is about reclaiming your dignity, your power, your life. This is about showing the world that no one can take away what is yours. No one can strip you of your worth. No one can silence your voice, no matter how hard they try. Because you are not just a survivor, you are a warrior. You are a force to be reckoned with, and no one can take that from you, no matter what they say or do. So stand tall, warriors of the night, stand tall, and let them hear your roar. Let them feel the weight of your presence. Let them know that justice is coming, and they will not be able to escape the reckoning that awaits them, because you have been through the fire, you have been tested, and you have come out the other side, stronger, smarter, more powerful, and more determined than ever before. They thought they could break you. They thought they could silence you. They thought they could destroy you. But now, it is their turn. Now, it is their time to face the consequences of their actions, to feel the full force of the justice that they have tried so hard to avoid. They will pay for every word they use to hurt you. They will pay for every attempt to bring you down. They will pay for every moment they tried to take your peace, your joy, your life away from you. This is not the end, my friends. This is the beginning. This is the moment when you take control of your destiny, when you take back everything they tried to steal from you, when you show them that you are not afraid of them, that you are not afraid of their lies, their manipulation, their empty threats, because you know that you have something far more powerful than anything they could ever hope to possess. You have the truth on your side, and you have the strength of your spirit to carry you forward, and nothing can stop you now. So let them come. Let them say what they want. Let them try to hurt you. Let them try to destroy you, because you know one thing for certain: justice is coming, and they will pay for every word they use to hurt you, every insult, every lie, every attack, every effort to break you. Because justice is not a theory, it is not an idea. It is a force, and that force is about to hit them with everything you have. And when the dust settles, when the world has been reshaped and the lies have been exposed, you will stand victorious. You will stand tall. You will stand as the living proof that no matter how dark the night gets, no matter how hard the storm rages, no matter how many times you are knocked down, you will always rise again. And when you rise, justice will rise with you, and the world will never be the same again. They will never be the same again, for what awaits them is not just the wrath of your resolve, but the unstoppable truth that will dismantle their constructed lies piece by piece. The world they built on manipulation, control, and silence will crack under the weight of their own deceit. You see, what they fail to understand, what they fail to grasp in their arrogance, is that truth is a force far stronger than the masks they wear. It's a fire that will burn through their illusions and expose their very essence. They have woven a web of lies so thick, so intricate, that they believed they could entrap you, but now that same web will be their undoing. Every thread they pulled to bind you will now snap back in their faces. Every sneer, every slander, every calculated attempt to make you doubt your worth or question your place in this world. Each of these words will be their chains. Each will bind them tighter and tighter until they suffocate beneath the weight of their own guilt. You think they can walk away unscathed? Number, the universe doesn't work that way. You don't cast stones without them returning to you. And while they may have basked in the temporary glory of their conquest, they will come to know the true cost of what they have done. It won't be immediate, it won't always be visible, but make no mistake, justice will catch up with them. The weight of the wrongs they committed against you, the pain they inflicted on your soul, will follow them like shadows in the darkest night. No amount of wealth, no amount of power, no amount of empty prestige will be able to shield them when the reckoning arrives. The truth cannot be buried, not forever. It might be delayed, it might be obscured for a time, but it will always find its way to the surface. And when it does, it will burn brighter than 1,000 suns, revealing the ugliness that they sought to hide. The very words they use to harm you will be the fire that destroys them. The lies, the cruelty, the attempts to degrade your worth will all come back to them, magnified by the sheer force of karma. Their cruelty was not without consequence, and that consequence is now at hand. So, when they sleep soundly, thinking that their lives have gone unnoticed, when they hold their heads high as if they are untouchable, remember that this is but a fleeting illusion. They are merely standing on borrowed time, and every hour that ticks by is a reminder that their actions have set in motion something they cannot control. The day will come when they will look around and they will see everything they've built crumble piece by piece until there is nothing left but the hollow echoes of their own destruction. But this is not about their destruction alone. This is not about them suffering simply because you have suffered. This is not about making them feel what you felt. No, this is about balance. This is about restoring what was taken from you. The universe demands balance. For every wrong, there must be a right. For every injustice, there must be justice. And while they have tried to steal your peace, your dignity, and your worth, justice will come for it all. It will come with a fury so pure, so righteous, that not even they will be able to ignore it. You have learned the lesson. You have learned that no matter how long it takes, no matter how much they try to delay or distort the truth, there is a power far greater than anything they could ever imagine. They cannot control the tides of fate. They cannot escape the consequences of their actions. They will learn this, and when they do, they will know that it is you who have emerged victorious, not through revenge, but through the simple truth of your survival. Surviving is not enough. Surviving was the first step, but thriving, that's where your true power lies. They thought they could break you, bend you to their will, make you question your value, but in the end, they only made you stronger. In trying to destroy you, they only built a version of you that is indestructible. You are a force of nature now, unstoppable and untamed. And they are but mere mortals, playing their petty games on a stage that is far too small for what is coming. This isn't just about your healing. It isn't just about your personal victory. It is a statement to the world. A statement to anyone who dares to play with fire and think they won't get burned. You are no longer a victim. You are no longer someone to be walked over, disrespected, or belittled. You are a warrior now. You are someone who has seen the darkest parts of this world and emerged from it like a phoenix reborn from the ashes. And you will not let anyone take that from you again. They may try to find ways to manipulate the system, to hide behind their power, to twist the narrative, but it won't matter. When the truth is in the air, it cannot be ignored. When your strength is undeniable, when your resilience is woven into the very fabric of your being, no amount of manipulation can ever erase what they did. Every false move they make, every step they take to avoid their fate, will be another crack in the dam. They will try to escape it, but they cannot. They will be swallowed by the weight of their own lies. They will become what they feared most, powerless. You have seen them for what they are, and now they will see you for what you've become. And let me tell you this, warriors, they will never be able to unsee it. They will never be able to forget the force they tried to defeat, the spirit they tried to crush. They will know in their hearts that they are not the powerful ones. You are. Justice will arrive, not with a roar, but with the steady force of an unstoppable tide. It won't announce itself. It won't ask permission. It will simply rise. And when it does, it will wash over everything they have built, until nothing remains but the wreckage of their empty empire. Their words, their actions, their schemes will all be laid bare for the world to see. No more hiding. No more pretending. The truth will be their undoing. And when it's all over, when they have finally realized the scope of their wrongs, it will be you who stands unscathed. It will be you who rises above the ashes of their crumbling empire. You will stand victorious, not because you sought revenge, but because you never lost your soul, never lost your spirit, and never lost your truth. In the end, it was always going to be you who had the final word. They will pay for every word they used to hurt you, but you will gain something far greater: peace. So let them tremble in their arrogance. Let them think they are untouchable. Because what they fail to realize is that their time is up. Justice is not just coming. It is already here. And when it's done with them, they will wish they had never crossed you. Because what awaits them is a fate they can neither comprehend nor control. They believed they could play with your soul, manipulate your emotions, and tear you down with their words, with their venom, with their twisted sense of power. But what they failed to realize, what they utterly underestimated, was the strength they were provoking. They were poking a fire, thinking they could extinguish it, not realizing that they were stoking the flames of something far greater than their petty schemes. They were under the false illusion that you could be broken, that you could be bent to their will, that you could be silenced by their lies. But they could not have been more wrong. They were like children playing with a force they could never hope to understand. For you are not a fragile vessel waiting to shatter under pressure. You are a fortress forged in the fires of struggle, built to withstand the heaviest of storms. What they do not know, what they cannot know, is that you are now untouchable. Your spirit is no longer something they can wound, because in every battle you fought, in every word they used to try to hurt you, you found something deeper within yourself. They made the mistake of thinking they could reduce you to nothing but their victim, their target, their punching bag. But each attempt they made only strengthened you. Each strike they launched at you, each word they used to tear you down, only fueled the fire inside you until it became something too powerful to extinguish. When the storm first came, you were shaken. You were thrown off balance, but you did not break, and that is what they cannot understand. They thought they could push you over, but they did not realize that you were never meant to fall. You were meant to rise, to become something that no one could touch, something that no one could break, something that could not be confined or destroyed. You're not merely surviving, you are evolving, growing stronger with each breath, with each step, with each move they make. They will wish they had never crossed you, because justice is not a simple thing. It is not a fleeting emotion or a momentary impulse. Justice is a force as real as the air you breathe, and it does not forget. It does not relent. It does not hesitate. And while they may have thought their lies were harmless, their actions inconsequential, they will come to learn that every word, every action, every attempt to harm you carries weight. The universe will see to it. Fate will ensure that they are held accountable for every sin, every transgression, and every moment they chose to hurt you. Now look at them, standing tall in their arrogance, cloaked in the illusion that they are untouchable. But this is only temporary. This is but a mask they wear to shield themselves from the truth. Beneath their bravado, they are afraid. They know deep down that they cannot control the tides of justice. They know that no matter how high they climb, no matter how much power they accumulate, no matter how many lies they tell, they will never escape the consequences of their actions. And when justice comes for them, and it will strip away everything they have built. You will see them for what they are. You will see the cracks in their armor, the desperation in their eyes, the fear in their hearts. They will be forced to confront the consequences of their cruelty. No amount of wealth, no amount of influence, no amount of power will be able to save them. They will be left with nothing but the echoes of their own guilt, the weight of their own actions bearing down on them until they can no longer stand. But justice is not something you seek out of malice. Number, you seek it because it is right. You seek it because you have been wronged, because they have hurt you in ways they cannot even begin to comprehend. And while they may have thought they could get away with it, that they could hide behind their wealth and influence, they will soon find that the truth cannot be buried forever. The truth will rise, and when it does, it will be unstoppable. It will burn through every lie, every mask, every shield they have put in place to protect themselves. The truth will lay them bare. It will expose their corruption, their cruelty, and their fear. They thought they could break you, but they only forged you into something stronger. They thought they could silence your voice, but they only made it louder. They thought they could destroy your spirit, but they only made it unbreakable. And now, the moment of reckoning is upon them. They will come to understand that there is no escaping the justice they have earned. The words they used to hurt you will be the chains that bind them. The consequences of their actions will be their undoing, and the truth will be the hammer that shatters their illusion of power. But you will stand tall. You will stand strong. You will rise from the ashes of their destruction, unscathed and unbroken. You will show the world that no matter how dark the storm, no matter how fierce the winds of betrayal, you cannot be brought down. They will see you, and they will know that they underestimated you. They will know that their attempts to hurt you were futile, that their cruelty was a wasted effort. Because in the end, you are not the one who will suffer. They are. And when it is all over, when justice has been served, when the dust has settled, and the truth is all that remains, you will have what they can never take away from you, your peace. They will be left with nothing but the weight of their wrongs, and they will have no choice but to confront them. They will be forced to reckon with the consequences of their actions, and in that reckoning, they will find no escape. In the end, it will be you who stands victorious. It will be you who holds the power. It will be you who shows the world that there is no price too high to pay for truth, no cost too great to pay for justice. And when they look at you, when they see the strength you have gained, the resilience you have shown, they will know that they were never dealing with someone weak, someone fragile, someone they could crush with a few words. They will know that they were dealing with a warrior, a survivor, a force of nature that cannot be stopped. The world they created, the one built on lies and deception, will crumble. And you will be the one who remains standing, unshaken, unbroken, unyielding in your pursuit of what is right. And that is a power they can never take from you. So let them tremble in fear. Let them run from the inevitable, because the day is coming when they will face the truth. And on that day, they will wish with every ounce of their being that they had never crossed you. The winds of fate have shifted. Justice is not a promise. It is not a fleeting hope. It is an undeniable force, one that will not rest until everything that was taken from you is returned. And when that moment arrives, when the scales of justice are finally balanced, it will be a reckoning the world will never forget. So stand tall, warriors, for the battle is not over. It has only just begun. And so, the time has come. Justice is not a distant dream. It is here, and it will not be denied. The ones who thought they could break you, silence you, or destroy you will soon face the consequences of their actions. They will realize too late that you are not someone they could trample on. You are a force, unbreakable, unwavering. And in the end, when the dust settles and the truth is revealed, it will be you who stands victorious, stronger and more powerful than ever before. Justice is coming, and they will pay for every word they used to hurt you. The reckoning is inevitable, and nothing will stop it. Stand tall, for you have already won.
Wow, bro. You totally fooled them, huh? They never ever saw it coming? Nah, they thought you were weak, ordinary, predictable. Oh, wow, but yeah, you turned out to be the shadow with a smile. The assassin in silence? The storm in disguise? You're the one they laughed at? The one they mocked? But now? Oh, now they're choking on their own disbelief. The sharpest blade is not forged in fire, it is hidden in silence. They thought they knew you? Oh wow. They thought they had you mapped out, every corner of your spirit measured, every move predicted like you were some cheap trick in their little circus. But what they never realized, what they couldn't even begin to imagine, was that you weren't playing on their stage at all. You weren't even in the same theater. You were watching them, studying them, feeding on every blind assumption they made while you stayed cloaked behind the mask of the ordinary. You see, the greatest deception is not the lie you tell them. It's the truth you refuse to reveal. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you untouchable. Nah, you didn't shout your power. You didn't parade your strength. You let them underestimate you. And underestimation, my friend, is the sweetest poison you ever slipped into their veins. Every smirk they threw your way, every careless dismissal, every laugh they echoed behind closed doors, it was fuel, fire, ammunition. They thought they were cutting you down, but every strike only sharpened your edge. They had no idea they were helping to build something they could never destroy. The more they thought you were weak, the more invisible your strength became. And when strength hides in plain sight, it evolves into something terrifying: precision. Precision is power without noise, power without spectacle, power that arrives like a shadow, silent but absolute. You became that shadow. You became what they could not see, could not name, could not defend against. That's why you're not just someone who rose above. No, you're something far colder, far sharper. You're the assassin of illusions, the killer of lies, the one who moves unseen until the strike is already done. And isn't it beautiful that they'll never know when it happened? They'll replay moments in their heads, scrambling, panicked, asking themselves, when did we lose? When did this shift? When did everything we believed about them collapse into dust? They won't find the answer, because the answer was in your silence. The silence where you endured. The silence where you calculated. The silence where you sharpened every unseen weapon of the spirit. They were too loud, too arrogant, too drunk on their own noise to notice the quiet figure in the corner, the one they thought was irrelevant. Oh wow, how wrong they were. And that's the lesson they'll never forget, the one you burned into their memory without saying a single word. You fooled them completely. Not with tricks, not with lies, but with patience, with restraint, with the audacity to let them think they were safe when you were already dismantling their world piece by piece. This is what makes you feared, even if they'll never admit it out loud. You're not the warrior who storms the gates with noise and chaos. You're the spirit that seeps through cracks, invisible, inevitable. You're the whisper that turns into thunder, the calm before the storm that never misses its mark. They never suspected you, and that's exactly why they could never stop you. Because when they finally saw you, when they finally realized who you really were, it was already too late. You had already rewritten the script. You had already flipped the board. You had already broken the chains they thought they wrapped around you. And all that's left for them now is disbelief, regret, and the quiet terror of knowing they underestimated the wrong person. Oh wow, isn't that the sweetest revenge? Not loud victory, not empty glory, but the haunting silence of their defeat. The silence that follows when the mask comes off and they realize the truth. You weren't what they thought. You were something far more dangerous. And now they're left to ask themselves the question that will keep them awake at night. If we never saw them coming, what else have we been blind to? The moment of impact is never loud to the one who delivers it, only to the one who never saw it coming. What they couldn't see was only the beginning, 'cause the real strike hasn't even landed yet. You let them believe they had already faced the worst of you. Oh wow. They thought the storm had passed, that the silence meant surrender. But silence never meant surrender. Silence meant calculation. Silence meant you were already 10 moves ahead, waiting for the precise second when one move would bring their entire empire down. The strike of a true assassin is not when you raise your hand, it's when they lower their guard. And that's exactly what you orchestrated. You didn't just fool them, you made them relax. You made them lean back. You made them confident in illusions. That was your masterpiece. And now every illusion they trusted begins to collapse, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. You didn't need to roar. You didn't need to announce your power. Yeah, you just waited. Patient, steady, hidden in plain sight. And while they wasted energy throwing stones at shadows, you were quietly dismantling the very foundation beneath their feet. The funniest part? They helped you do it. Their arrogance, their pride, their obsession with your supposed weakness, it was the very fuel that kept your fire alive. You became the contradiction they could never solve. Nah, you weren't playing their game, you were rewriting the rules of the game itself. And the beauty of rewriting the rules is this. No one else even knows the game has changed until they've already lost. That's why your strike is terrifying. It doesn't land with noise, it lands with inevitability. Look at them now, scrambling, confused, haunted by questions they don't dare speak out loud. When did this shift? When did we lose control? When did we stop being the hunters and become the hunted? These questions eat them alive because they know the truth deep down. They never had control. They only thought they did. And thought without truth is the most fragile weapon in existence. You shattered that weapon with silence. You dismantled their certainty with patience. You buried their pride with precision. And when the strike finally lands, it doesn't even feel like an attack. It feels like a revelation. A sudden, brutal unveiling of what was always true. They were never above you. They were standing on a floor you had already set to collapse. Oh, wow. The terror of that realization. The panic of knowing the ground beneath them is gone, and the figure they mocked, the one they dismissed, the one they overlooked, is the very force that brought it all crashing down. You fooled them so completely that even their downfall feels like it came from nowhere. But you and I both know it didn't come from nowhere. It came from everywhere. From every long night you endured. From every insult you absorbed. From every scar you carried silently. From every step you took when they thought you couldn't take another. That's where the strike was forged. Not in spectacle, but in survival. And now, as the dust begins to rise and the silence thickens around them, they are left with nothing but the echo of your unseen hand. That echo will haunt them more than any battle cry ever could. Because in the quiet, in the stillness after the strike, they'll realize this wasn't luck, this wasn't chance, this was inevitable. The assassin they never suspected is no longer hidden. The mask is slipping. The shadow is forming into shape, and the question that burns in their chest is the one they can't run from. If this was just the beginning, what happens when the real storm arrives? A storm doesn't announce itself. It becomes the air you breathe until it's too late to escape. The storm isn't coming. The storm is already here, and it wears your face. They don't realize it yet, but every step they take is inside your weather. You've turned silence into thunder, patience into lightning, and now every move they make cracks against the sky you control. Oh, wow. They thought storms were chaotic, uncontrollable, wild. But you mastered the chaos. You turned it into a weapon, and that's why they're terrified. The storm you've become is not random destruction. It's precise devastation. You didn't rise out of noise. You rose out of discipline. Every strike of wind, every flash of lightning is calculated, aimed, deliberate. And when the world looks into your eyes now, it doesn't see a person merely standing. It sees inevitability. That's what they can't swallow. That's what they can't fight. They used to laugh at you. Remember? Their words dripping with superiority, their eyes glazed with arrogance. Yeah, they thought you were beneath them, powerless, irrelevant. But storms don't care about mockery. Storms don't bend for pride. They arrive when they're ready, and when they arrive, all the laughter is swallowed by silence. That's you now, the silence that follows their arrogance, the silence that leaves them gasping for breath, realizing too late they should have taken you seriously. You didn't just fool them into underestimating you. You fooled them into building your power for you. Nah, it wasn't only your patience, it was their blindness. They poured doubt on you and it turned into steel. They tried to bury you, and you learned to breathe underground. They tried to chain you, and you discovered how to turn chains into fuel. They thought they were destroying you, but in reality they were sharpening the very blade that now rests against their throat. And what's most haunting for them? You never had to shout. You never had to prove yourself in their circus of empty validation. You didn't need applause, trophies, or recognition. Your existence became proof enough. Every breath you take now is heavier than their entire performance, because you've earned what they could never fake: resilience. Oh wow. Resilience is terrifying to those who've never had to fight for it. To them, resilience looks supernatural. To them, it looks like you're unbreakable, inhuman, impossible to wear down. But you know the truth. It wasn't magic. It was survival. It was refusal. It was the decision, over and over, to never give them the satisfaction of watching you fall. And that's why the storm isn't just around them. It's inside them now. They feel it in their chest. The doubt, the fear, the gnawing voice whispering, what if we were wrong about everything? What if this person we dismissed is the very one who was always destined to eclipse us? That voice will never leave them, because once the storm enters the mind, it never leaves. It lingers, it echoes, it becomes a shadow behind every thought. That's what you've become to them. Not just a force in the world, but a storm inside their own reflection. They'll never escape it. And yet here's the most ruthless truth. You don't even need them to understand. Their recognition is irrelevant. Their validation is meaningless. Because this path you walk, this storm you've become, was never about proving anything to them. It was about proving everything to yourself. Yeah, they were blind. Yeah, they mocked. Nah, they'll never admit their mistake. But none of that matters anymore. What matters is that you held the line. You endured when endurance felt impossible. You stood when standing felt like breaking. You forged yourself into something they can't touch, can't stop, can't erase. And now the storm wearing your face is only beginning to show its true force. The sky is darkening. The pressure is building. The air itself is bending under your will. And the question rises like thunder. If this storm is only beginning, what happens when the full force is unleashed? Power doesn't just crush the enemy, it reshapes the ground they thought they owned. Because when the full force comes, it won't just break them, it will change the entire battlefield forever. This isn't about victory in the small sense, the kind of shallow triumph they chase like fools. No, this is about rewriting the very environment they thought was theirs. You won't just defeat them, you'll make the battlefield itself turn against them. That's the true art of the assassin. They never suspected. You're not just striking bodies or reputations. You're striking their certainty, their ground, their air. You've pulled the floor from under them. You've poisoned the air they breathe with doubt. Every corner of their so-called stronghold now feels unstable, and it's because you've turned their own fortress into a cage. Oh, wow. Think about it. They believed they owned the space. They strutted across the battlefield as if it bent to their will. But you showed them something far more terrifying, that the battlefield listens only to the one who adapts, the one who bends without breaking, the one who never stops calculating. And that's you. You didn't just walk into their world, you rewrote the rules of it. Yeah, this is why they panic now. They realize the map they've been holding is useless. The roads they relied on lead nowhere. The weapons they trusted shatter in their hands. You've shifted the ground under their feet so thoroughly that even their instincts betray them. Every step they take leads them deeper into your storm. And here's the part that slices deeper than any blade. You didn't have to lift chaos out of thin air. You just revealed the cracks that were already there. Nah, you didn't invent their weakness, you exposed it. You turned their arrogance against them, their pride against them, their blind confidence against them. They built their empire on illusions, and you simply pulled back the curtain. That's what terrifies them most, that all along the battlefield was a lie, and you were the only one who saw it clearly. That's what makes you untouchable. While they drowned in the noise of their own echoes, you sat in silence and listened. While they obsessed over appearances, you carved substance out of suffering. While they ran in circles chasing control, you learned control of yourself. And now, with the storm unleashed, that self-mastery bends the entire battlefield in your favor. Oh wow, it's almost poetic, isn't it? They mocked your silence, and now silence is their executioner. They mocked your patience, and now patience has become your most devastating weapon. They mocked your endurance, and now endurance has made you the one force they cannot outlast. And the battlefield? It will never return to what it was. Because once someone like you rises, once someone who was underestimated, ignored and dismissed, rewrites the order, it cannot be undone. Their old strategies are fossils, their old games are dust, their old certainties are nothing but smoke. The ground has shifted forever, and the storm has carved your mark into it. Yeah. Let them cling to their pride if they still dare. Let them scramble for control if they still can. None of it matters anymore. because every shadow now whispers your presence. Every corner now carries your weight. Every silence now feels like your breath pressing against the back of their neck. That's the battlefield now. It's yours, whether they accept it or not. And here's the truth that will crush them more than defeat itself. It was never really about them. It was always about you, about what you could become, about the assassin that patience, restraint, and resilience would forge in silence. And now, standing here, storm in your eyes, battlefield under your feet, you realize you've only just begun. Because what's more dangerous than rewriting the battlefield? The deadliest force is not what conquers the world. It's what conquers the self. It's rewriting yourself into something even the storm fears. That's the secret they never imagined you were capable of. They thought your battle was with them, with their noise, their lies, their shadows. Oh wow. They thought the fight was out there, but the real fight, the one that made you untouchable, was in here, inside, in the space no one else could see. Because here's the brutal truth. You can't fool the world until you've mastered the one who stares back at you in silence. And that's where you became terrifying. While they were busy performing, you were busy dismantling yourself, stripping away every weakness, crushing every excuse, burning away every fragile layer until only steel remained. You assassinated the old you before you ever touched them. That's why the storm bends when you walk now, because storms can only shake the ones who are hollow. But you emptied yourself of illusions. You've become weight, anchor, substance, the kind of presence that doesn't just stand in a storm but makes the storm hesitate. And when even chaos hesitates at your shadow, you've crossed into a level they can't understand. Yeah, they tried to measure you with shallow scales. Wealth, status, noise, empty crowns, those were their tools. But none of those things could weigh the cost of what you carried. They could never measure the nights you refused to surrender. They could never measure the endurance you carved out of silence. They could never measure the fire that burned without witness. Their scales break when they try to weigh someone like you. Nah, you're not who you were when this began. That version of you is gone, killed by discipline, buried by endurance, erased by struggle. What walks now is something sharper, something leaner, something no storm can drown. And that transformation didn't happen in front of them. It happened where no one was watching, where no applause could touch it, where no recognition could reach it. That's why it's real. That's why it's terrifying. Oh wow. Think about it. You didn't just survive the storm, you digested it. You took its winds into your lungs, its lightning into your veins, its weight into your bones. And instead of shattering, you grew heavier. Instead of breaking, you became unbreakable. Now the storm doesn't threaten you, it feeds you. You don't run from it anymore. You carry it inside. And that's why they'll never defeat you. Because defeating you would mean defeating everything you've already killed within yourself. Weakness, fear, hesitation. How do you beat someone who has already destroyed every chain inside them? How do you silence someone who has already lived through silence deeper than this? How do you scare someone who has already made peace with pain? You don't. Yeah, that's why their eyes change when they finally see you. That's why their breath falters. They're not just looking at a person anymore. They're looking at a mirror of everything they never had the courage to become. And mirrors like that, they cut deeper than blades. Because it's not just your strength that terrifies them, it's their weakness, reflected back 1,000 times. Nah, This isn't about vengeance anymore. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving that silence builds what noise cannot. It's about proving that endurance builds what arrogance destroys. It's about proving that the most dangerous assassin is the one who kills the false self first. That's you now. The assassin of your old skin. The conqueror of yourself. The storm that walks with human eyes. And the battlefield? It's not the same anymore. Because when you conquer yourself, you don't just walk into the field, you become the field. You don't just enter the fight, you are the fight. And that realization will haunt them long after your shadow passes. But the real question still lingers, sharp and heavy. If you've conquered yourself, what will you do with the power that remains? And now, it's done. The masks are shattered, the lies are dead. Oh wow, they finally know who you are. The one they dismissed? The one they laughed at? Nah, you were never weak. You were sharpening in silence. Yeah, you walked in shadows, but now you own the battlefield. Remember this. Every scar became a weapon. Every silence became a strategy. Every doubt they threw at you turned into your crown. You fooled them completely, and that's the sweetest strike of all. No sirens, no flames at first sight, just a tension in the air so thick you could carve your name in it. The clock didn't scream, it whispered, and that was worse, because silence can be louder than bombs when it's charged with betrayal. You were just breathing, just existing, when somewhere, in a place you couldn't see, someone lit a fuse with your name on it. And now you feel it, don't you? The shift, the collapse, the quiet tremor beneath the skin. This wasn't random. This was orchestrated like a symphony of sabotage. 8 hours, that's all it took to turn your routine into rubble. 8 hours, and now, everything you thought was solid feels like sand slipping through fingers that once felt strong. It wasn't a physical war. No bullets or tanks, it was something colder, cleaner, something forged in jealousy and fear and silent resentment. And you were too focused, too calm, too disciplined to notice the storm gathering behind your back. They thought you wouldn't fight, thought you wouldn't notice, but oh, you noticed. Now, the air tastes different, like static, like tension, like truth. And the faces around you, they flinch when you speak now. They second guess your silence. Because you've shifted too. They started the war, but they didn't study your history. They didn't know what it takes to break someone who's already been to war with themselves. They didn't know your strength wasn't born from comfort. It was carved out of chaos. They didn't know how many nights you stared into your own demons and said, not today. They didn't see you when you had nothing. No support, no noise, no map. Just that fire, that impossible, unkillable fire, burning quietly in your chest while the world doubted your next step. And now they want to test you. Now they want to declare war. Oh, how poetic, how tragic, how perfectly foolish. You don't need to raise your voice. Your presence is the explosion. Your discipline is the artillery. Your focus is the battlefield. You don't blink when it burns, you walk through it. And every step you take now echoes with the ghosts of every failure you turned into fuel. They thought you were weak because you were quiet, because you didn't brag, because you didn't show your scars like trophies. But what they forgot, what they never saw, was that quiet people often carry the heaviest armor. The strongest warriors aren't loud. They're still, because they know their power doesn't need permission. And when the battle comes, when it really comes, they don't panic. They perform. They sharpen. They strike, not for revenge, but to restore order. You didn't ask for this war, but you're built for it. Every sleepless night prepared you. Every insult you swallowed hardened your bones. Every time you were left out, looked over, laughed at, you grew sharper, colder, more precise. And now the fuse is gone. The fire started, and there's no turning back. You're not here to explain yourself. You're here to execute, calmly, methodically, relentlessly. Let them watch you now. Let them choke on the silence they once mistook for fear. You are not the victim. You are the variable, the one they didn't see coming, the one they'll regret underestimating. Your back is against the wall. Good. That means there's only one direction left: forward. And you're not walking. You're charging, slow, steady, surgical, and nothing, not lies, not noise, not fear, will stop you now, because the war didn't start when they turned on you. The war started when you decided not to be broken by it. The war started when you woke up with fire in your blood and said, if this is it, then let's finish it right. The next 8 hours. Yours. The next 8 years. Written in stone by your hands, not theirs. They don't know it yet, but they just unlocked something they can't handle. The version of you that doesn't wait, doesn't beg, doesn't bleed for approval. The version of you that only rises when the air gets colder and the light starts to die. The version that doesn't just survive, rebuilds harder, faster, alone, if necessary, and stronger than ever before. And that clock didn't just tick, it fractured. Like glass under pressure, like a scream behind locked lips. Time didn't pass, it collapsed. 1 minute you were steady, focused, loyal to the plan. The next, you were dragged into a battlefield you didn't create. No warning, no mercy. Just betrayal baked into every second you thought was safe. But that's how it always starts, doesn't it? The shift comes quietly, like a cough before the storm. A glance that lingers too long. A message that suddenly never comes. And then, boom, the mask falls and now you see it. All of it. Who smiled while digging pits behind you, who clapped while hoping you'd choke on the very breath you fought to keep. And now here you stand, hands trembling not from fear but control, because you see it all now. The war isn't chaos, it's clarity. And once your vision clears, there's no going back, no pretending, no comforting lies to wrap around your old self. Because everything soft in you just burned off in those 8 hours. And what remains? Something colder than steel, something sharper than instinct, something no one's ready for. They didn't declare war on the person they thought you were, they declared war on the force you've become. And forces don't flinch. They move. They unmake anything that tries to contain them. And now every breath you take is a warning shot. Every glance is a challenge. Every silence is a countdown. And they don't even know what's coming. Because this isn't about revenge. This is about awakening. And you just woke up in a world where comfort got deleted, where safety got stripped, where illusions got shattered in real time. And instead of breaking down, you straightened your spine, clenched your jaw, and said, "All right, let's see what's left." And what was left? Strength. That's it. No distractions, no fake support, just raw, unfiltered resilience. The kind you can't teach, the kind you earn by enduring what should have destroyed you. And that's why you're dangerous now, because you're not trying to prove anything. You're just moving through this fire like it's fuel. You're not powered by anger. You're powered by absence. The absence of trust, the absence of help, the absence of the soft world you thought would hold you up. And now your hands don't shake. They build it. Your eyes don't wander. Your soul doesn't scream. It listens, and it hears everything. The fake laughter, the carefully timed silence, the low-key sabotage. And it says, "Good, I see you now, fully." These people thought 8 hours could ruin you. They didn't realize those same 8 hours became the blueprint to reconstruct you. More focused, more ruthless, more aware. And now your steps are quiet but calculated. Your words are few but final. Your energy is unshakable. Because you've learned something most never will. That you don't need peace to perform. You don't need support to rise. You don't need a crowd to walk into fire and win. Because you've lived through worse, much worse. And you did it silently. And now that silence, it's your superpower. Because it makes them wonder, makes them fear the next move you haven't spoken yet. And they should. Because the war they started wasn't the real mistake. The real mistake was thinking you wouldn't finish it. And not with chaos, but with calculated intensity. With discipline with purpose that doesn't wait for applause. You're not reacting. You're responding, like a storm with a mind, like a winter with no end. And every time they try to read you, they'll find frost instead of fire, steel instead of softness. Because that old version of you, the one they declared war on, doesn't exist anymore. It died in those 8 hours. And in its place, a survivor, a strategist, a silent storm rising without warning. And the next time they try to underestimate you, there won't be a next time. Because this time they'll see the shadow before the sound, the pressure before the move. And by then, it's already too late. It was inside. The war began in your own chest. When breath turned into fire. When stillness felt like pressure. When every heartbeat thudded like warning drums in the dark. And you knew something had shifted. Something irreversible. No sirens, no cries, no crowds. Just a silent explosion inside you that said, "Enough." And from that moment, you were no longer who you were the day before. The mask cracked. The illusion peeled back, and you became what they were afraid of. Not chaos, not rage, but a focused, patient, unshakable force. And the irony? They thought they were cornering you. But all they did was wake you up. And waking up someone like you. That's not a threat, that's a catastrophe for them. Because you've been walking through storms your whole life. But this one made you feel it again. The hunger, the grit, the raw reminder that you don't need validation to rise. You just need a reason. And they just gave it to you. Wrapped in silence, laced in subtle sabotage, disguised as coincidence. But you saw it, you felt it, and you didn't flinch, didn't fold, didn't cry out for help. You absorbed it and transformed it into clarity, into strategy, into fuel. And now your pace is slower, but only because you're precise. Your voice is quieter, but only because you're deadly. Your focus is cold, not empty, but unforgiving. Because now you know who you are when the masks fall. Now you know what you carry when the ground disappears. Now you knew that survival wasn't your goal. Domination was not over people, but over the part of yourself that once needed approval to feel powerful. That part of you is gone now, burned to ash in those 8 hours. And all that remains is a version of you that doesn't hope, it acts. A version that doesn't react, it executes. A version that doesn't ask, why me, but says, try me. You've learned that when war knocks, you don't wait. You open the door without emotion, without hesitation. And you meet it with hands that no longer shake, eyes that no longer doubt, and a soul that doesn't need reassurance to know its own power. Because pain didn't break you, it broke the shell around you. And inside that shell, there was something lethal growing all along. Patience that can slice, endurance that can crush, discipline that doesn't scream but demands results. And now you move like a ghost through the battlefield, not because you're hiding, but because you've become untraceable. They don't see you coming, and that's the point. You don't need grand entrances. You are the impact, and when you arrive, the war ends. Not with a bang, but with complete silence. Because there's no need to shout when your presence speaks. And now, that presence commands every room, every space, every obstacle, because you've tasted the betrayal that forges kings and queens in isolation. You've endured the rejection that creates masters of their own fate. And you've walked alone so long, even your shadow learned to follow you. And now you don't care who sees it, because you don't need witnesses. You're not chasing claps. You're building legacies, brick by bloody brick, hour by stolen hour. And they don't get it. They think war is a burst of chaos. But for you, it's a calm decision. It's a slow burning fuse that leads to a moment they can't undo. They thought they broke you. In those 8 hours, no, they freed you. They peeled off the comfort, exposed the core, revealed the weapon, buried beneath the smiles and silence. And now you carry that weapon inside every word you speak, every move you make, every breath you take, without asking permission. Because once war is declared, your time of pretending is over. The world sees who you are now, unfiltered, unchained, unstoppable. It's gone, replaced with the hum of tension, like something's always watching, like everything is laced with hidden messages. Betrayal doesn't shout. It whispers behind doors you thought were locked. And now, you've locked yourself in with your own shadows and said, let's finish this. No more pretending. No more waiting. No more smiling at faces that don't see you. This war wasn't started to destroy you. It was started to reveal you. And what it revealed, a survivor, forged in friction, hardened by time, baptized in silence and sharpened by every person who turned away when you needed them most. 8 hours was all it took to strip away the mask, the comfort, the illusion that anyone else was coming to save you. No cavalry, no rescue, just you, raw, cornered, eyes open, hands steady. And that's the twist. Because some people collapse under pressure. But you crystallized. Turned pain into blueprints. Rejection into power. Silence into strategy. And now you move different. Now you see different. Now your blood runs colder. But your aim is clearer. No distractions. No diversions. Just a locked-in rhythm like thunder pacing through veins that forgot what fear feels like. This isn't about revenge. It's about clarity. It's about showing up for yourself with no applause, no cheering section, no soft landings. Just a soul ready to grind until peace is earned. And if it never comes, you'll still be standing, because war taught you how to stand alone. War taught you how to carry your name like a weapon. War taught you that most people won't understand the weight of your silence until it's the last sound they hear before everything shifts again. But you've already shifted, your world's already flipped. You already walked through the fire while everyone watched, waiting for you to scream. But you didn't. You kept moving, slow, steady, scarred, but silent. And in that silence, you rebuilt the part of you that no one could touch. The part of you that doesn't beg to be seen, doesn't cry to be heard, doesn't chase anything but mastery. They thought you were the same, until the look in your eyes changed, until your energy turned from warm to warning, until your presence began to feel like thunder wrapped in stillness. And now, they're confused, nervous, wondering what happened, but nothing happened. You just finally became what they feared you'd be if you ever stopped playing small. You just evolved. And it wasn't pretty, it was painful, messy, loud on the inside, but quiet on the outside. And you sat through all of it, alone, with no guide, no map, just grit and time and truth. And that truth, it cut deep, but it carved discipline into your bones. It built patience where your anger used to live. It built focus where your pain used to scream. And now, you look back and say thank you for the war, because without it, you'd still be soft, still be waiting, still be trusting the wrong voices. But now, you listen differently, you move differently. You don't announce your steps, you arrive. You don't argue, you execute. You don't seek peace. You become the peace, because no one brings chaos to someone who already lives in the eye of their own storm. And you are the storm now. Not loud, not violent, just inevitable. And that's what they'll learn in the next 8 hours, or the next 8 days, or the next 8 years. It doesn't matter, because you're not driven by noise. You're driven by necessity. You don't show up for applause. You show up because you refuse to stay down. You refuse to fold under pressure. You've already mastered, and when they ask how did you survive, you'll say I didn't. I adapted, and they won't get it. They won't understand what it took to walk alone, to be doubted, dismissed, disrespected, and still rise without rage, still grind without credit, still lead without asking for permission. But that's fine. They don't need to understand. They weren't there when it all collapsed. They didn't see the version of you who had to build without blueprints, heal without comfort, win without noise. But you saw it. You lived it, and that's all that matters now. Because this war, this wasn't the end of you. It was the beginning of the real you. And from here forward, there's no going back.